From the moment Sumire was introduced in the Boruto anime, she immediately drew comparisons to Hinata. Both shared a very similar personality and both expressed interest in the main character romantically. This brings up the question of which of these is the better written character, and in today's video, I plan to look at just that. Before I declare which of these is better written, I'm going to briefly go over what makes a character well written. Number 1 is personality. In short, does a character have a strong enough personality that they're more than just a single leaf that's being carried away by the current that's the main story? Or are they a rock that briefly disrupts the flow of the story in the same way that a rock thrown into a stream disrupts the current? Number 2 is motivation. What drives this character? Do the wants and desires of the character rely solely on the main character or the main plot thread, or do they exist independently? Number 3 is conflict. A good character has a balance of internal and external conflict. Internal conflict being their fears or unsure of how to reach a goal. External conflict is an obstacle that prevents them from reaching a goal or the next stage of character growth. A perfect example of this is Tsunade. She's afraid of blood, but when Naruto is facing certain death, she has to overcome that fear to face Kabuto and then heal Naruto. Number 4 is interactions. Do the interactions with other characters push this character to a new level of understanding or development, or do they push the character away from the direction that he or she was headed on at the start of the story? A perfect example of this is Naruto Shippuden opening 18, where you see Naruto running towards his bonds, whereas Sasuke is fighting to break free of his bonds. Number 5 is voice. In terms of craft, voice means simply that if a character's name was stripped away from the dialogue, would you be able to tell who the speaker was? How does the character speak? What is the behavior like? How does what they've been through dictate both of these actions? For instance, if you read Bright Optimism in terms relating to youth and outlandish goals, then you know that it's either Rock Lee or Guy. That's because their voice is very unique. You associate those terms and mannerisms with them. Finally, number 6, does the character introduced have room to grow? This is pretty self-explanatory. Is the character the same as they were from the introduction, or have they gone through arcs that have significant changes? So, with that criteria out of the way, let's declare which of these is the better written character between the two and look at why. Hands down, I think Sumire wins this easily. Taking an unbiased look at Hinata, it can be strongly argued that her sole purpose as a character was to give birth to Naruto's children. Her personality is similar to Sumire's. She's polite, soft-spoken, looks to please others. However, every instance of Hinata's growth is either directly connected to Naruto Uzumaki or is related to the plot and is used to get to the next plot thread. Even Hinata's ninja way, which is supposed to be unique, is directly derived from Naruto. While she did cling to Naruto's boisterous personality because, like him, she was an outcast, Hinata was essentially cast aside for her younger sister Hinabi, and Hinata struggled with her self-esteem issues. In the manga, despite her teammates and her sensei attempting to prop her up, her growth, 90% of it came from Naruto. Her courage to stand up to Neji came from Naruto's words, and then her will to continue fighting came from her memories of watching Naruto train as she watched from behind corners. A very strong argument can be made that her desire to get stronger was more so to gain the acknowledgement of Naruto than it was to overcome the self-esteem issues that caused her father to disown her and for her own personal desire. In chapter 80, we start to see Hinata take steps towards growing. We see Kuronai acknowledge that Hinata was useless on the missions that her team failed because she was the weak link of the team. But as she watched Hinata fight, she remarked that she never saw the fire burn as brightly as it did when Hinata fought Neji. However, Hinata was thinking of Naruto and asking herself, did Naruto finally notice her? Even in Hinata's brightest moments where she saves Naruto, she's only doing so the plot can progress further. Hinata has to attack Pain so Naruto can get triggered enough to sprout enough of the Kyuubi's tails so Minato can speak to him. When she slaps Naruto during the war arc, she was used to restore Naruto's sense of being and get him back to the path of the hero's journey, which was the hero's call to action. At no point in the series did Hinata act in a way that spurred growth that wasn't directly plot related or done with the intention of getting the secret ramen sauce of Naruto from his nutsack. In Sumire, we see something completely different. She's timid, but she's also acted in a way that was partly due to a facade. Like Hinata, she has a sad backstory. However, unlike Hinata, her motivation isn't directly linked to the main character. We never saw Hinata openly try to get the attention of her father or initiate anything that wasn't already preset in the story. In Sumire, we saw her become the rock that disrupted the flow of the story. Sumire, in a time of peace, was causing chaos in the village by controlling Nu. She chose to carry out the wishes of her father, which was plot related. However, it was Sumire who chose the details for the plan. She chose to create a facade of the class rep, all while waiting for Nu to develop far enough for her to act. She made a conscious decision to carry out this act, but when the time came, she abandoned the role. Sumire showed no remorse and was more driven than we've ever seen her before when she fought against Boruto. Unlike Hinata, who had a sad backstory, Sumire used her backstory to grow into what she revealed herself to be. She wanted to carry out her father's wishes, but a huge part of her motivation was due to the fact that one of her greatest joys was the time she spent with her mother. We saw Sumire interact with Nu, caring for it as if it was a family member and being distraught at the thought that it was going to be lost forever. While Boruto did pull her from the darkness, Sumire was the one who was placed in a detention center both to heal and to be detained by Sai and the Anbu. Sumire was the one who faced her demons alone, and it was she who chose to return to the village. When Sumire joins the scientific ninja weapons team, it was her choice. It wasn't a choice that she made all with the intention of hoping that Boruto would notice her. However, she does have a crush on her. It wasn't the driving factor. Sumire worked to make herself a key member of the weapons team by choosing to join a new division in the village, which caused her to go without communication with her former classmates. Sumire displayed an ability to act independent of the plot and to follow her own desires, hopes, and dreams. This is not something we've ever seen with Hinata. Sumire doesn't rely on Boruto to grow, nor does her growth come at the expense of moving the plot forward. Her interactions with Nu show that she developed relationships that were critical to her development. Since she was alone with Nu, that was her only family. When we next see Nu, Sumire is using it to aid her classmates during the bell test, who through her interactions with her have caused her to do so in a genuine manner. We actually see Sumire struggle internally at certain points during the story. She has to make choices that will cause ill will to others, and it's also she can carry out her father's plan. She chooses to be alone for years in order to make it happen. She creates a false personality. She confronts Boruto, who tries to tell her that the Sumire he knows is the real one, and she refutes him. She faces herself all alone while being in a detention center. She deals with shame when Shino visits her. She's conflicted about returning to the village. She does state that Boruto saved her, but she never states that he is the reason for her current character arc. Putting it simply, what we're seeing is that Kodachi, the writer for the Boruto anime, manga, and the co-writer for the Boruto movie, knows how to properly write female characters, which Kishimoto admitted is something that he sucks at. So that's it for my video today, guys. Let me know if you want more detailed analysis videos of characters in the future, and leave a suggestion for other characters you'd like to see me tackle. Thanks so much for watching. Have an awesome day.